everybody. Welcome to the MAC and Peak to Peak Mountain Mobility Working Group meeting. This is the first meeting of 2025. So thank you all for being here. I'm going to add the agenda here in the chat. And I sent an email a couple of days ago with the agenda. We have one addition, which is the Vision Zero Action Plan update from Liv. Then we'll talk about mountain rides, the volunteer driver program, and then finalizing with the Ecopass business program that I think it's been going on for a little bit. So yeah, before this, and maybe while other people join, I thought we could have a quick question for an icebreaker. And I have my question here. Where did it go? I was thinking about something that could be easy and fun. And here it is. So the question for today is, if you could implement, and I'm gonna put it in the chat, if you could implement one transportation change in your community that will have the biggest positive impact, what would it be and why? And you can think about, I don't know, outside of the box. It doesn't have to be something that, follows reality very well. Something that's imaginative. I can go first. So, and I think I've talked about this in the past, but I think that making buses and trains of different colors, like routes that are vibrant and playful and fun, will be a better way to get people excited about getting on buses. I think about all the routes that are around my area, and they're just numbers, and it's hard to tell which one. It's hard to relearn and remember. So that will be my thought. Just make buses colorful and add more art to them.
Jessica, how do you feel about boulders, skip, and hop and everything? Is that
That's
gonna
going the right direction.
right direction? Okay. Because that was the intent with that back in the day.
Oh yeah?
Make it more fun during
Mhm.
transit. Exactly what you're talking about. So,
Yeah. Oh, so is that why it is orange?
So they
yeah.
have different, they all have different designs. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, yes, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since you unmuted, Liv, do you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah. Such a great question. I want to say something creative like with hot air balloons. But the first thing that really came to mind as more of a fully formed thought was actually fare-free transit. Because I think, if you make it easy slash free to take the bus, even more people would, and then there would be fewer people driving. You wouldn't need as many parking lots for cars and all the things that we've done to accommodate cars, and it would have this ripple effect. I've already seen it with the 19 and under for free on the buses. A lot of kiddos are taking the bus now too, so it's great. So I'm a big fan.
All free.
And I didn't really introduce myself, but yes, all free. And I'm Liv Lewin. I'm with Boulder County Transportation Planning, and I'm the Vision Zero Program Manager.
Yes, thank you. That should have been the first part of the question. Introduce yourself and then the response to the question.
Wanted to jump right in.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Next in my screen, I see Nick. Nick, would you like to introduce yourself and go next?
Hi everyone, my name is Nick Aguilera, long-range transportation planner with Boulder County as of 3 months today. Happy to be with you all. That's a hard question for me, Jessica. I think of so many things, like just like an interconnected network of like safe, bicycle lanes and rolling lanes. The number of times that I've seen people, the most fun I've ever seen my grandfather have and my grandmother was when they were able to ride in a sidecar on a bicycle that I rented for them when I was abroad in Spain. They were able to come visit, which was incredible. But aside from that, One thing that I would love, and this is kind of nerdy, but it's just like better parking policy. And there's a great book called The High Cost of Free Parking that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. Um, and part of that is just making people realize the value of the space and all the ways that it can be used differently. Um, Depending on, I would almost love if every single neighborhood had the funds and availability to like create a parklet, and that could be a garden, that could be a shared community space, that could be like a place where everybody shares tools. Um, that I think that would just help people start thinking about how we're using our streets a little differently.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks, Nick. I like those. Very imaginative. Next on my screen, I see Lisa. Would you like to go next?
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Lisa Bitzer. I'm the Director of Operations with Via Mobility Services. And I think for me, because I'm always thinking about how we can make things better, how we can have a positive impact, money. We need funds to be able to make the buses that can be colorful and to do all the things that Nick just talked about. We can't do any of it without money. So to have unlimited funds so that everybody could have what they needed and get the transportation that was desired, that would be amazing.
I love it. Just not have to worry about money.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lisa. Angel, do you want to go next?
I mean, I think that some of the ideas have been covered, but I think it really comes down to resources and also thoughtful land use, right? So, I mean, being able to make sure that we have all modes of transportation available so that people can, I don't know, like walk to the bus and feel dignity, right? That's probably what I would change, is making sure that there was equal investment in all the modes.
Like that. Thank you. Riva, would you like to go?
Sure. Reba Mitchell, the Director of Nederland Area Seniors. You actually I disconnected from you when you said the question, and all I heard was transportation changes that you would like to see. And so I didn't know if there was more involved with that, because you guys are saying really positive things.
Yeah, I put the question in the chat again. So if you could implement one transportation change in your community that will have the biggest positive impact, what would it be and why?
Okay, specific to the Nederland community, we're a little different, off the beaten path, from down below, but, I guess from the population that I hear from, it's mostly like people just being able to get to appointments in Boulder on their own schedules, and not have to like connect with RTD schedule necessarily, but there was at one time where people could get picked up for that, and now that is not possible, as well as having a fixed route along Peaks Peak that we have, because that's been popular as well, but both things combining to help, make everybody be able to have their needs met up here.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much, Riva.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I wanted to talk about this just so that we can maybe think about those ideas and then also center the work that we do here and how that kind of takes us to that ideal world of having the resources, applying for the grants, and getting the services that will help our communities. So thank you all for that exercise. Okay, so now we can move on to the first agenda item, which is the Vision Zero Action Plan update. And yeah, Liv, do you need to share this screen?
No, actually, I just have a short spiel, if you will, and not sharing the screen. Oh, I didn't know if my dog was coming in or not. Wants to stay in the sunshine, I think. But no, thank you so much. Jessica, and to all of you for having me today. Again, my name is Liv Lewin. I'm with Boulder County and not quite as new as Nick. I've been here almost a year and in the role of Vision Zero program manager. And I guess first off, I just want to check, have you all heard of Vision Zero? I see one yes and one no. Okay, that's good to know. Vision Zero is all about transportation safety. And I like to say that Vision Zero is short for zero traffic deaths. It's really about Boulder County's commitment, and actually many communities around the world now, our commitment to eliminating traffic crashes that result in fatalities and serious injuries, right? So today I'm going to just share a little about the Vision Zero action plan, make sure you know about the project and some upcoming opportunities to participate. So the Vision Zero action plan is a project to develop a detailed plan that will be a prioritized to-do list of actions that the county and our partners plan to take. And so we're actually developing 3 plans at the same time. So we have one plan for unincorporated Boulder County and the mountain towns of Jamestown, Nederland, and Ward. And then we're also working with Lafayette for them to develop a plan, and Superior for them to develop a plan for that town as well. So again, this is all safety focused for transportation, and many of the actions that are being developed through this plan will be engineering focused, because that's what we have the most control over, direct control over. So they could be things like signal timing changes, rumble strips, guardrails, bike facilities. Those are just a few examples. We will also be looking at enforcement, education, and other non-infrastructure approaches to really support a safety culture, right? Hi, John. As you can imagine, one of the main tasks is really to do a detailed technical analysis of crash data. So we've done that, and we've been complementing that process with community input. So last summer, the team, we came to the Nederland Farmers Market, actually. We had an online survey to understand safety concerns. And we have several folks on a steering committee also. John and some other staff from Nederland are on that. And that committee is meeting throughout the project. So this afternoon, I just wanted to highlight some of our upcoming outreach that we're going to be doing in February. So just a few days. We're going to be asking for input from the community on priorities as we start to prioritize specific projects coming out of the plan, and also to kind of take the temperature on some of the engineering treatments that we're going to be doing. So we will have an online survey in both English and Spanish. And would love it if you would be open to sharing the link via any newsletters or on social media. We can provide that. It'll be coming out soon. But would love your help spreading the word for that. If you'd like an in-person fun opportunity to interact with the project team, we will be at Winter Bike to Work Day in Boulder on February 14th. That's at the Boulder Chamber. Early in the morning. I think it starts at 7 in the morning for about 2 hours. And also Peter with Ned is working on a town talk. And so hoping that that will work out for the project team to be there as well. So that would be sometime in February. It's still a little tentative. So I encourage you to take the survey when it is published. And if you have any other groups you think might be interested in hearing more about this, I'm happy to come to other meetings and or just share information on the project. And I'll put my contact info and the project website in the chat. And that's really what I wanted to share. If we still have a little time, I'm happy to answer questions and really appreciate you being here and for your support of transportation for everyone. So, thank you.
Thank you, Liv. Are there any questions? for Liv or the project?
I have a question, Liv. Have you been able to get on the agenda of the Peak to Peak Housing and Human Services Alliance?
Let me see, I have to look at my list. I know that's on the list. I may still need to reach out to them though.
Okay. I know Annette is one of the co-chairs, so I don't know if you all, Annette, I don't know, do you have room on the February agenda for a quick update for on Vision Zero?
I am gonna meet with Tom before he leaves town this weekend,
Okay.
and then I can connect with Liv. Is your contact information in here?
I
somewhere?
just posted it in the chat.
Okay. I'll
Yes,
look
my,
for you.
my email, and I think, yeah, I have a note here. Yeah, thank you for checking on that.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, Thursday the 13th. I may have somebody else from our project team do that because I will be on travel. But we would definitely love a chance to share about the project with your group as well, Annette. So
Okay.
you can go through me and
Yeah,
we can
I
work on that if
can.
that works.
This year, we are kind of reconfiguring how the Peak to Peak meets, what it does, and also the Mountain Human Services Collaborative to make it workable for all of the people who need to attend. So I think we're going to have 6 presentations this year at the Peak to Peak. And so February will also be kind of a talking about all of that kind of organization. Liv, just for a little background, we had a contractor who's the funding for that contract is not there. So now Tom, who's the chair, and myself, who's the vice chair, are doing it as volunteers, all the work that the paid program manager did, which was Katrina Harms.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I'm sorry, I wasn't able to join the meeting till now, but at some point before we leave, I just wanted to get some clarification about what kind of how Tom and I should interface with this meeting and what's expected on the Mountain Rides website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Annette. So let's see, Annette, Joni, and Jonathan. Thank you for joining. Would you like to introduce yourselves just for the whole group? Annette, you were speaking, so do you want to just introduce yourself?
Okay. So my name's Annette Trufelt-Frank. I'm the vice chair of the Peak to Peak Housing and Human Services Alliance. I'm also the secretary of the board for the Netherland Food Pantry. I run their clothing closet, and I sit on the IDDAC, the Intellectual Developmental and Disabilities Advisory Council for Boulder County. So those are my official affiliations right now.
Thank you, Annette.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan?
I'm Jonathan Kane. I am the Town and Zoning Administrator in Netherland.
Thank you. Joni, is your phone are you also the phone number that's added? I don't know if you can introduce yourself. I know that in the past you've mentioned that your computer doesn't have audio, but yeah. Oh, I see that you have a message in the chat. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for joining. Okay.
Joni is with the Hour Center in Longmont.
Mhm. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you all. Any other questions for Liv for the Vision Zero program, or ways to other outlets where she can spread this message?
I guess I do have a question. You said that you have links that you can send to everybody to include newsletters. Do you have paper surveys? Because I think that like Reba's audience might want paper surveys.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We meet on Wednesday lunches, so I can pass those out to our group, at least to connect them with where to go to add their input.
Yeah.
That would be great. And is this position the Vision Zero? You said you're in your first year with this position or this program, or?
It's a new position with the county. Yes, I mean, there's been some work towards Vision Zero in the past, but this is a new dedicated position that started at the beginning of last February.
And it sounds like it's just basically researching what needs to happen, but not necessarily having money to implement things in the future, or what, like,
So the first step is a great question, right? Because we
Yeah.
want to be able to implement stuff, right? Not just
Yeah.
study. So this will include specific actions at some specific locations, for example. Some of that we can do internally, with existing budgets at the county, signal timing and things like that sometimes can be just
Sure.
changed.
Yeah.
We also have a transportation sales tax funding that I would anticipate that we will be kind of requesting money from the budget moving forward based on some of the things that come out of the plan. So we will be looking to be able to fund the actions from the plan as well as go after larger grants. One of the things, like, this is actually funded through a Safe Streets and Roads for All grant, a federal grant program. And they love it when you do a plan and then you actually request funds to implement projects that are identified in the plan. That is how it's set up. So we are getting ready, through this plan to identify the projects that will want to apply for federal funding, like that program and others as well.
That's great. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and if you have any leads on money, of course, and
We're
I love it.
all like scraping the barrel. This
Right,
I don't know.
right. But yeah, thank you for asking. And so, Reba, maybe we can coordinate separately. I want to make sure I can get you what you need for your meeting. Yeah, I think in the past, I'm trying to think if we had a paper version of our last survey was also an interactive map, but we can find a way to make sure that we get input from your folks.
Yeah, whatever could be best towards people that don't use technology, maybe. And I'm happy to like compile that info and send it somewhere, or mail the, the paper that come back. Just let me know what works best.
Yeah, okay, great. We can probably get a version, and it might be easy if I send you an electronic version to print out, have folks fill out, and then if you can like scan them or something and send them back, we could take input that way, maybe.
Totally. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Liv, I had a great conversation with Jonathan, Steve, and other folks from the town of Netherland just about community engagement for another project. So I can touch base with you and then, make sure that you talk to the town about some other good places to get feedback from Vision Zero.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, and that Liv actually tabled with Mobility for All, like in the summer, right? Before, I forget exactly, maybe it was July. And it was a great connecting point, especially for like stakeholders, right? Community partners that were there. Like, yeah, it was great.
So if you have something you want me to bring to the next one, like we were talking about, as a way to get some information in, I can do that, even if you can't personally attend.
Perfect. And when is that Human Services Fair scheduled next?
Fourth Thursday of every month.
The fourth Thursday? Okay.
But tomorrow?
Like the 27th.
Oh.
We did it last week.
Oh, last week.
Month.
I'm like, the 27th of February. That's the one.
Yeah.
I don't know. When does your engagement and end, Liv?
Yeah, right now the plan is to be open like the entire month of February. We may be able to extend that just a little bit, because we wouldn't want to be like, hey, come take our survey like right now because it's closing in 20 minutes, I can see if we can, leave it open a little bit, maybe through that first weekend, for example, in March. That might give folks a little more time if we're going to advertise it on the 27th.
I'll connect with you outside of this meeting and we can see how we can get it here. Like the library might be able to put some paper copies out and things like that too.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Liv, and thanks everybody for helping with the connections and ways to spread out this information. I think it's very important, and also having the responses from different populations, not just like spread out geographically, but also different ages and abilities too. So thank you, Liv.
All right, I'm going to pop off, but feel free to get in touch. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our second agenda item. that's mountain rides. And I think, yeah, Lisa, do you have any updates? I know we went back to the old schedule, so.
Yeah, after this week, right? We go back to the old schedule starting in February. After much conversation, we agreed that we would go back to Wednesday and Thursday. And so that's starting next week. That's what we'll do. I know Bob's got everything figured out on his end. It works for the driver. We know that any day I think that we would run it, that the ridership would probably be good. But this just puts us back to normal. And in the meantime, see what we can all come up with to, maybe one day get some riders, get some other days added. So you never know what the future holds, right? So that's the plan. We know it works. We know people love to use it. And so we've been very pleased with it. But yeah, starting next week, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah. Lisa, I'm assuming that, I know that you all were talking about maybe putting a flyer up inside the vehicle to let people know of the change. Has the driver been telling people as well?
Yes, I believe that the driver has been telling people, and I'm still working on the flyer communications. I've only got one person, and they're swamped because Frank uses that person a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So I have put in my order for it, but she has not gotten back with me yet.
Okay. And I know, Annette, you had talked about the website. So the last that we talked, since we have accessibility requirements, right? And I know that peak-to-peak transportation link that Katrina had paid for with some funding that we had provided to the pantry a while back. That one like didn't get maintained, right? So it's like dead, right? So it doesn't have updated information.
Yeah, I don't
So
think it's been updated since September.
yeah,
But it's my understanding that only Katrina has access to that website. Tom and I have asked her for access to that and to migrate the material over to the Peak to Peak HHS website. So that would be a page on there, just like the Human Services Fair is, so people could at least find the schedule.
and I thought that had already happened, like to
Last
put,
time I looked, it had not. Did
okay.
she do it in the last few days? I haven't checked in like 3 days.
There's mountain rides at the top. It's a banner.
Uh-huh.
And it just is set here. I'll share.
Okay.
So she did. So she did update it. So it's a banner up at the top, right? So let me just
Okay.
go back to like let y'all know how it.
Does that have like the full schedule on it, or does it just say that they're going back to Wednesday and?
It has a schedule. So see,
Okay.
this is probably where it is because it's hard to find because this is like the main page. But
Yeah.
if you go up here, there's mountain rides.
Right.
And it just says like the banner here is operated by.
Oh, and there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you scroll down, so it looks like she did update it with
Okay.
Wednesday and Thursday. And it's the most recent schedule. So we're
That's
also creating a web page on our website as well.
okay.
And the big thing that there's also a Facebook
Right.
page, which I don't think has been used very much. So I don't know if that makes sense to continue.
I think she made me administrator on that, but I haven't been able to get in. So we're still working that through. And there's also a email address listed on a lot of the flyers, the p2pvia@gmail.com.
Mhm.
And I hadn't gotten clarification on who owns that. Is that hers, Katrina's, or was that something through Via?
No, that was Katrina or
Okay.
Betty or Katrina.
Okay. I don't think Betty's on there anymore.
So, and honestly, I don't think so. John and Boulder County were going to meet. So they're moving forward. They've already identified a volunteer driver coordinator. And I think that we had envisioned at some point there to be like somebody to help with like after the volunteer driver program is launched, like somebody to help with like navigation of like transportation resources. So I don't know if it makes sense for that to be the same person. And we have a meeting to talk about it. But I do think posting it on the Peak to Peak is good, right? Because that's where people go for Peak to Peak information, like the food pantry.
So to be clear, the grant that the town holds, you're hoping they will also use this volunteer driver program to also do navigation, transportation navigation?
Yes, but we
Okay.
want to make sure that the focus is specifically on the volunteer driver program for the first until, for the first 6 months. We want to make sure that like we're not distracting from the that project with Dr. Cog, if that makes sense. But it's the town, they're the ones that have the contract, right? So they're the ones that will be staffing it and be responsible for that. And there might be possibilities to like leverage other funding sources or synergize with other funding things. I don't know, John.
Right.
I think it makes sense to have an all-time quarterback working on transportation issues in Western Boulder County. And what my idea was is that we might be able to build a collaborative relationship using NEPADAC funds and other funds that would be available for programs like the volunteer driver to just coordinate these efforts that we've been doing kind of piecemeal here and there. And I just think like having somebody who's connected to everyone all the time and has access to a full-time job and benefits and things like that would be helpful. And then they could help with all of these different efforts that we undertake and maybe just kind of be a clearinghouse. And that was kind of what my idea was, but that is a very 10,000 foot view of what might be possible.
Yeah, that sounds like an advocate manager navigation kind of position altogether.
Yeah, and I think they would probably manage. One of the things I was thinking, we have an IGA with Boulder County to manage RTD passes for employees and workers, and it would just allow us to have somebody who could really focus on transportation. The volunteer coordinator piece, I think there's going to be, once that program starts running, there's going to be a lot of things that happen with that to make sure that we maintain our volunteers and our driver base and all those kinds of things. And so I think it's going to very quickly be something that takes a good deal of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that like once it's like set up, right, and we have like these synergies between Mountain Rides, the volunteer driver program, like that may like allow for us to be a little bit more strategic with like that resource navigation. But yeah.
So there was a flyer that Katrina had put out that I think this group made that had 4 quarters on it that was like resources around transportation just for the Netherland area or the Peak to Peak area specifically. If that could get resent again, I know Katrina sent it to me in a link in an email a long time ago. But that'd be
that
great.
was something, Mobility for All created that. So our colleague Melissa was the project manager on that. And so we have them for 9 different communities around Boulder County. And it's the transportation options that are the most relevant to those communities. And so we can definitely send that out and we can print some more I think we already have a lot of Netherland ones that we could send up to you all.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be great. And we can also put that on the Peak to Peak site.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll send it up. We'll send it out in the follow-up email. We have it in English and Spanish. I don't know if Spanish is needed much, but
might as well have it. Yeah. You have Nepalese?
We don't, but if you have a demand for it, let us know and we'll see if we can get it translated. We're open to, yeah.
Okay. So would it warrant a separate conversation between Lisa and you and I and possibly Tom about the Mountain Rides project and how we keep that connected? Or is that something to talk in this meeting?
This meeting is a good place for it. We don't need like more, I know we all are busy, right? We don't need more meetings on our calendar, and this is a space for collaboration. So.
Okay. I just don't want to lose the momentum that Katrina was part of as we hand over stuff here. And Katrina had said she wanted to stay connected as a citizen, but I haven't talked to her about what meetings she's actually going to attend, or she hasn't specified that.
And I don't think we have her personal, I mean, we have her like Katrina Harm's like consultant email address, but is that the one that we should be inviting to these
That
things?
one is still active.
Okay.
And then she has used Katrina Harms at Katrina Harms.
Yeah, I've
You
seen
have
that
that
one.
one. I think that one is still active too.
Okay, I'll make sure that that email specifically is on this list, distribution list.
I've been in contact with her too, and Angel, if you need help, we can tag team.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just an unfortunate thing, but communication isn't tight between Tom, her, and I as we transition through this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't want to let things fall on my end.
So as far as where we're at with like mountain rides, we're going back to 2 days for this year. We're looking for additional funding sources. What was the rate? How much did we need per day, Lisa? It was like $650 per day.
I think like 668 or something
Yeah.
like that, if I remember correctly.
So 668 per day. So if we add
Mhm.
another day, we would need to like, get that much over the number of weeks. So we're looking for grant opportunities to expand it. Katrina was working with Gilpin County, specifically Mary, I believe her name was, and
Mhm.
she's invited to these meetings as well. And they're exploring, or they had brought up the idea of exploring a GROC grant. Jonathan?
I just wanted to add, I recently spoke to Ray Rears, the county manager, and he
Okay.
expressed the same interest. And I think they're interested in helping us fund something at least to mid-county if we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, I think that's the missing link, John. That would be great, because we've talked about the funding that we provide. So VIA gets a 5311 grant, which is $40,000-ish. $20,000 is what they can contribute this year, though. And then Boulder County provides a $40,000 local match for the service. And so, like, the more money we can get from other contributors, the better. And then there's also a GROC grant, which is like, I forget what GROC stands for, but it's basically an opioid
Opioid settlement, yeah.
settlement dollars from Gilpin County. And I
Mhm.
think VIA is planning on applying for.
I do sit on the GRAP board, just to be 100% open.
Oh, great. Okay. So I think Lisa, VIA is looking at proposing something. I don't know if it's going to be an extension of mountain rides, because Gilpin County did talk about how they need transportation into Jeffco. And then also maybe a demand responsive or like a deviated fixed route. I don't know, Lisa, if you want to share that idea with Jonathan.
Yeah, so we've been thinking about, what we could do. We know that Gilpin is interested in people getting down to Jefferson. That was the big piece of it. And so doing some kind of either a micro transit or, on-demand service to be able to do that Monday through Friday. And then also, how could we tie it in with the mountain ride? People from Gilpin wanting to come into Ned needing to go into Gilpin for addiction, and other services. And so we have some ideas. We've talked them over as a group, and see, what we can pull together, and need to get with them up in Gilpin, and what is the need? What would those places like to see in Jefferson? Where's the biggest need, and how do we piece it all together to get everybody where they need to go and get them the services that they need?
Well, please let me know how I can be helpful. I've been on GROC. I guess I'm not on that GROC. I'm on the Boulder one now, but I used to be on the Jefferson County one for several years. And so I have very many connections over there in Clear Creek and in Gilpin and in Jeffco. So if I can help, let me know, because I would love to make sure that you're supported in whatever you need.
Yeah, and Jonathan, that is one thing that we talked about when we met with Gilpin County is GROC is Boulder County has, their version, and they had just announced their projects. So if you, we would love to meet with the Boulder County GROC folks and just kind of talk about it, because there's more need, I'm sure, than what we're able to meet with mountain rides. So if there's something that, I don't know, the Boulder County one is prioritizing, we'd love to know.
I'll bring something up, but if one of you guys would be willing to come with me for an agenda item just to talk to that, I think I can get that happening.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I don't know, Lisa, if you want to do it, or do you want me to do it, or?
Why don't you go ahead and do it, and then I'll jump in.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so Jonathan, I can do that depending on the day that it is, but yeah.
So you're doing an agenda item to be on the Gilpin County or the Boulder?
The Boulder County
Okay, cool.
G-Rock, just to kind of bring up
Isn't
transportation.
it called B-Rock now?
Oh,
Then it's Gateway Regional Opioid Council over there,
Yeah.
and then here it's Boulder specific.
so Annette, did that clear up some of your questions about mountain rides? We're just seeking money at this point to expand the number of days.
Yeah, I was thinking a little bit more operationally, if there needs to be communication from the driver to the peak to peak somehow, or if you want us to get information out, or you have something you need from us,
Yeah.
you know, like when they aren't going to be able to operate due to weather or something like that, how do we get the word out? I think she had used the Facebook page before. So it was more practical stuff like that. Like, do we need to be checking in with the driver every once in a while up here, Tom or I, just to make sure she knows that we know she's alive and you know,
Yeah.
wave all the time, but
I think Nick had something to add because I know Nick's been leading a survey.
Yeah, I was just going to say, related to mountain rides, we're talking about wanting a better understanding of the people who are riding the service and utilizing it, and how it's meeting their needs, as we look at obtaining future funding. So Annette and team, I was thinking that we want to make sure that we reach out to you. This is something, of course, that we're hoping to offer primarily to people that are, onboarding the survey, like giving the driver either a sheet of paper or a QR code to share with the passengers. But I'm realizing that you would be and Peak to Peak would be a fantastic place to make sure that this word gets out for this survey. So I'm sure that our team will be in touch with you, Annette.
Yeah. And Annette, the way that we had talked about it in the past is, I mean, VIA does a good job of trying to call it the day before if we can. So usually there's an email with Bob, Lisa, me, and Katrina, right? Is that everybody that normally, maybe also Paul, or some of the transit folks? And VIA usually just asks, do we want to make the call? Sometimes they propose that they want to make the call. And so we just like, and VIA usually posts something on their social media that we try to share. So I think sharing it in Netheads was something that Katrina would do. I was looking at the Facebook page for the mountain rides, and I don't think that it's been updated a lot. So I think just for clarity, it's best to come from the operator VIA because they're closest, right? So as much as we can share on social media and get the word out once they post it, that would probably be best.
Is there a way for Tom or I to be connected somehow in that notification system so that we can then make a post on the food pantry or make a post on the Peak to Peak site? So
Yeah.
that we, just passing it along.
We can include you and Tom in that notification. We can just have an email that's like, here's the emergency closure like group or whatever.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah, I just want to make sure that we don't drop a link in that.
I think there might have been one time last year, Lisa, that it was like super early in the morning that you ended up calling it and we ended up like.
Yeah, it depends on what's happening. Like, if the driver's starting out and they're going up there and it gets real sketchy and feels unsafe, that can happen. I always try my best to pay attention to the weather and call it the day before, if possible. But things happen. So usually we send it to you, Angel and Paul and Alex Hyde, anybody in Boulder County. And then we would send it to Katrina. And then, like you said, post it on our social media and on our website sometimes to say that we're closed. Because usually if I'm closing one mountain run, I'm usually closing a couple of others. So we list everything that's going to be closed.
Right. And I've had some feedback that the plowing hasn't been as timely this year as it has in the past. And so the Peak to Peak has felt really treacherous for a lot of our clients. Like they come into the food pantry and wait 2 hours until they see a plow go by because it was such a harrowing experience. So I'm hoping that your driver hasn't had this kind of those same feelings just
No.
last month or two. Okay.
No, we haven't had any complaints from the driver. She's pretty tough and savvy.
Mhm.
And so, but we kind of know if you guys are going to get a foot of snow, chances are we're not going to be running. Um, and so, we always want to be safety first, or if the driver heads up that way and says, hey, I'm not feeling good about this, this
Right.
is sketchy. We allow that driver to make that determination when needed.
Okay.
I had a quick question about the communication with the writers and stuff. Nick, you were saying you guys are getting out a survey to the writers to gather more information. Are you putting something on there about how like maybe they could be communicated with? Like if maybe Mountain Rides was canceled and you guys had like your list of and like you could put it out to the people themselves too as a way to get stuff out.
Reba, thank you for that suggestion. Like that's incredible. We were not going to, that had not come up in conversation yet, but I will make sure that that can be included.
Yeah, because some people might have phones where it's easy to get a text, message or check their email or something and maybe making it easier for the communication to get out there for our people. I don't know. This is a suggestion.
Yeah, we're hoping to collect, we would be happy to leave a section for, keep the survey anonymous, but then give them a chance to opt in for that sort of messaging.
Yeah, great. Thanks. Yeah, and of course, and if they choose not to, then they have to just deal with the situation, right? So it could be good.
Yeah, it's not like the RTD app where you can go in and check it, right? And
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, VIA is included in the transit app and in Google, right? So they're using, I forget what software, I don't want to speak for you, Lisa.
We use Passio, but we have our own app and we also use all the regular apps so people can go in and look. So we post it there as well.
does the driver have any information in the bus or the shuttle about those apps if people want it?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to ask.
Yeah, like maybe it could be where if, look here for weather,
Or we could put it on
they-
the little
yeah,
flyer
something
too,
like that. Yeah.
if it's not already.
And Lisa, we'll be I'll make sure that we're in touch with you. I was going to, I still haven't come up with a draft of the survey, but going to share that with our team soon and then make sure to share it with you all. And we'll make sure that, yeah, in this section, we include all the resources that VL already has connected to the shuttle service.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, and if there's any discussion that you guys need to have that you would have had with Katrina, just, shunt it over to Tom and I. We're always, if you guys need letters of support for any of the funding, any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you all. Thank you for all the collaboration. I am mindful of the time, and I think if everybody feels good, we can move on to the next item, so that we can finish up in time. We already talked about the volunteer driving program. So Jojo mentioned that the town has hired a volunteer program coordinator. Is there any other details to share about that item?
I don't have any details yet, but we're gonna have, I feel like this space is gonna be heavily dedicated to, since Mountain Rides is up and running and we don't have as many issues, we'll probably focus on the volunteer driver program setup in this meeting. And we'll probably schedule like a few extra meetings because I think once a month isn't sufficient to get a program set up within 6 months, right? So I think we'll wait until we see like the new person and how they want to tackle it. But just we might set up reoccurring meeting holds. And it may not be everybody in this group, but we definitely want your input on the program.
Well, that's exciting that they found somebody.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I'm thinking that, they'll be attending the Peak to Peaks, right? And providing updates there, right? And then we have this to kind of be a working group where we can knock out some things that we need to make decisions on.
Yeah, I'm hoping, when they're ready, when Jonathan's ready to announce who it is and connect them, that he will.
Yeah,
We're literally a 3-minute walk away from each other.
great, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time coming, so I'm also very excited about having somebody and getting started with this project because I think it's really going to help.
Well,
people around.
they do have, this is the third time that it's been tried in recent times. So the other two people that worked on it are still around if they wanted to ask them about what
Yeah,
happened.
I would love to
before.
learn more about that, because that did not come up necessarily 3 different times, like in our plan that we did, like in 2018. So I would be interested to know like best practices.
Yeah, Betty was in on it initially. That's how she came in.
Oh, so Betty, that was slightly different.
Okay.
So that was, we had provided funding to help get mountain rides up and going and to promote the transportation options. There was the idea that it would like flow into the volunteer driver program, but we hadn't secured the funding for the volunteer
okay,
driver program
okay.
yet. So I think we had thought that her position could be like, like kind of a mobility coordinator, helping get mountain rides,
Right.
the insider perspective, but she never really worked on the volunteer program.
Okay. And Via's had the friends and family reimbursement program in that area for many years too. So
Yeah. And when I talk about like resource navigation, and I know Jessica, we're like over, but I think that if we have a point person who can help people navigate, then maybe they can also help people sign up for the friends and family, because we want people to have multiple options. And we
right.
talked about friends and family at the senior lunch when we went in November, right? Was that when we went, Reba?
I think it was, yeah, November. It was November.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you had any signups? I'm just curious if anyone's utilized that since then.
Lisa, has anybody found like
No.
I don't think so. Just the same people. It seems to be the same core wherever it's used.
Mhm.
I don't remember seeing any new names. We've only
Yeah.
20 people total that use it, so it's not huge. Yeah.
It's a multi-step process too. So people may need a little support doing it the
Yeah.
first few times.
Yeah, and I think last summer we did the training, or we did the update on it, that Lisa gave the presentation. So it'd probably be good to circle back around with the peak to peak to make sure that you all don't have any questions if you have to help people, like sign up.
Yeah, there's definitely a learning curve to not just like how to, for example, ride mountain rides, but also learn all the different options that are available in the Netherlands area. So I can test that from personal experience. I'm like, okay, it's this one and an accessoride, and then every single one seems like there's a process to get
Yeah.
registered and so on. But yeah.
We will again in the county have a IDD Autism Brain Injury Systems Navigator person. That contract was given to someone, I don't know who it is yet this year. So that person can also help with those type of transportation things up this way.
And they're on, are they a county employee or was it an external contractor?
It was an RFP, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, that's good.
I think it might be the same people, but we haven't been told officially yet, so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Mhm.
We have a couple of minutes left. Nick, is there any updates that you wanted to share about the Ecopass business program?
Yeah, so as you all know, the Ecopass is an annual transit pass that provides free RTD service for all Netherlands residents historically, but that was recently expanded to all full-time employees as well. I believe it started in December or in middle or end of December. So it's still getting started. Over 240 employees at Eldora have signed up for this program, and 49 businesses have indicated interest. Approximately 100 business employees have officially received their pass or signed up for it, and we are wanting to make sure to close that gap to make sure that all the businesses that indicated interest show we help them through that process to make sure that their employees get signed up. But it's a great uptick so far in signups for the Ecopass. And happy to see that growth and keep it up. We are the town is the folks that are directly administering the program. And as we heard too, you know, that they're doing a lot in that office. So Landon, Melissa, and I are stepping in just to help make sure that that's going as efficiently as it can, and to streamline the process. But once again, almost half of Eldora's employees are already using it, and want to keep spreading the good word through town. So if you know any business owners that are that may help us spread the word. Thank you.
Cool. I know we've got new owners for the grocery store up here. New owners for Saltos. There's like a whole kind of turnover that's happening, but I'm assuming they're connected. Angel, it's the Ned Library District.
No, I'm sorry. That was a comment for Nick. So
Okay.
I don't know if you all are talking about the loop yet, Nick.
Oh,
Is that official?
Angel, that is not official yet.
Okay.
The Annette, could you restate your question? Oh, so we
No, it's
do
right.
have.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that, but
No,
we'll send out.
no.
There could be a development for like a service potentially, but we'll send it out through the mountain. We'll send out through the updated information directly to
Yeah.
you, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about it if it does move forward. So.
And Annette, we have an updated list of business contacts that we collected through the town. So we are cross-checking that list of businesses with the businesses that have had staff sign up so far. And we're going to reach out to all those that have not yet completed that process to help make that happen.
Cool.
Yeah, but great program. So I'm happy to see this getting started in Ned.
Yeah, have so many people already signed up. So you said about 240 employees from Eldora, and then 49
I
businesses.
just checked the list and it's right around 100 full-time employees from other businesses. And as I said, 49 businesses in Eldora indicated interest. And we want to help make sure that all those other staff that we help close that gap.
Yeah, so you're a little less than half of indicated employees actually being signed up. Is that what you're saying?
I believe so. And
Okay.
that we need to, and the other issue that we're encountering is once again, I think like limited staff time, you know, in town, and we want to make sure that all our data is getting stored in the same place so that we can help make this happen.
Right, and they need to bring, yeah, it's a process, yeah.
Well, and it's a multi-step process. So sometimes we
Completely.
get emails for people, but then they don't do what they're supposed to do on their
Right.
side to set up the app. And so it'll take a while to like be.
And the businesses that we've talked to, Landon and I have stopped by when we've had in-town visits for Nepodac, and some of them aren't always checking their emails either.
Yep.
So we'll just continue this communication and make it happen.
Yeah, it's your priority. It may not be a high in their priority, so I get it. I love my Ecopass.
Did we do it right? I think I only signed me up for Ned Seniors, but I did put it out to some of my staff.
Reba, I can go check our data for that for you and help you follow up with you
Okay.
to make sure that you submit the right form to the right folks to get your staff signed up.
That would be great. I think I started mine but haven't moved it on to my staff yet because I wasn't sure if I did it right.
Yeah, I'm meeting with Landon and Melissa tomorrow to talk about this, and then we're establishing regular meetings with the town.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
so Reba, just quickly to restate, Ned Seniors is
Yeah.
the organization that I will look for. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. If you all have any questions, feel free to reach out directly to me, or to Jessica and Angel and pass that along. I will drop my email in the chat right now.
Thank
Thank you, Nick. And yeah, exciting. Hopefully this program will keep growing, and we'll get more people free rights to use RTD. Okay, I think that's all we have for the agenda. Any last feelings? Or we're good? We're good.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
That's my last feeling is, yeah.
I forgot that actually happened.
Yeah. Is this like the end of January, the like appropriate time to say like Happy New Year, or can we
Yeah.
keep doing that?
No, I mean, since it's the first time we've seen everybody, I think we can.
Right.
And I have to say one positive thing about transportation, my 15-year-old daughter is using the RTD and going all over Boulder and figuring it all out on her own. And I love that she can ride for free. So that's
That's
wonderful.
great. Yeah. If she wants to take a
Nomination.
picture of herself, and we
Yeah.
could include it in our newsletter, just talking
Oh,
about
cool.
testimonials. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, social media. We can make her famous.
Great.
Well,
Yeah.
transportation famous, but
Yeah.
it's a different level of fame.
We can handle that one. We can
Right.
handle that.
Well, you know, every time I post something and it happens in RTD service, RTD also reposts. So
Ah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's cool. And I just wanted to say that I know the mountain rides is gonna it'll have an increase in readership with warmer weather and whenever that happens,
Mhm.
right? Even in bouts and periods. So it may seem like a little slow right now, but you know, that's how it is up here seasonally.
Yeah, and I don't know if we've gotten the ridership report, but I don't know if it impacted it too much, like during, because it's essential services, right, that people are accessing. So I
Right.
didn't notice in the data previously that there was much fluctuation.
We had our travelers that were using it too at certain times, you know, and getting dropped off and walking back to their campsites and stuff. And there's not that many of them up here now, hopefully.
Mhm.
We do have people riding RTD up to use the library and the food pantry and then riding it back down. So, because
Yeah.
it's who wouldn't want to be up here versus
Yeah.
a crowded facility down below. So, but I haven't heard of them then taking the, you know, you have to have a daytime, midday RTD ride up to go back to Rollinsville or Ward. So you got to plan it well.
That's true. Well, thank you for that incident, Ed, and thank you all for this extra 7 minutes. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you for our
Thanks.
second meeting in February.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.